Cybertron as a planet also is almost a character in the movie, and we took a lot of care in building it.
I can do this.
And the creation of it really started with what was in Josh's head.
One of the things that got me excited about this film was seeing what Cybertron would look like in its heyday. Did not want it to just be a big gray ball in the sky.
It's a world like we've never seen it before. No, we've never seen Cybertron this way before.
In the past, Cybertron has really been looked at as a very sort of metallic and in somewhat cold-feeling place.
Typically, what we've showed of Cybertron in the past has been sort of a limited palette because it's a society that's crumbling, it's very metallic, it's kind of dark. This is a time period where the planet is in its full sort of glory, if you would. So it allowed really a full use of your imagination, both visually and also stylistically.
We pulled together a ton of reference, just different color palettes, photographs of different types of metal, all sorts of things that could be an inspiration.
So we really used a lot of research of minerals and metals that are colorful as our inspiration. And we hired Jason Shire, our production designer.
Jason just dove into that and started painting, and he's an amazing painter, and he paints so fast.
And Jason and his crew created the vision for what Cybertron looked like.
This is a highly unusual movie in the sense that the world is incredibly complicated to render visually, and there is no point of reference for any of this.
It was a big challenge. It's a metal planet. We're gonna have a part of the planet that's actually a little bit more structural, which is Icon City. That's an underground city.
It's almost like a Manhattan underground, but also hanging from the ceiling. So we had buildings that were almost stalactites and stalagmites.
And one of the briefs that Josh gave me was that he wanted it to feel Art Deco.
Whenever I see that architectural style, it's huge, it's bombastic, it's opulent, and it just feels like it was designed by robots. Even the statues that are within Art Deco just have a very mechanical feel to them.
We rebranded this idea of called Tech Deco, where you have Art Deco and the ideas of overlapping layers and structural motifs, but leaning still towards chunkiness.
It's interesting, we looked at some of the designs from Art Deco from the 20s and 30s and actually lined up almost perfectly with how the design aesthetic of Transformers naturally is.
So if you look at the 80s cartoons and looking at Icon City, things have a chunk to them. So we called that Cybertronian chunk. And actually one of the briefs that Josh gave me was, let's make everything feel stable in Icon City. The only thing we'll be moving is the Transformers and the Transformers vehicles and trains, and that's it. But once we get to the surface, the world is alive.
What is it?
It's not metal. It's like some kind of weird nature. It's weird.
So are they.
You know, the idea of organic life, that things could have traveled across the stars and found their way to Cybertron and created, you know, a planet that had that type of diversity. The mixture of robotic and organic, I think, is a wonderful part of this movie.
When we first see the surface, the actual surface of the planet is polymorphing and sort of changing and bending in shape. And that was a delicate dance with our partners at Industrial Light and Magic, where we were asking them, is it possible to slide, you know, planes on top of each other to have rocks feel alive and sort of have this like polymorphic shape?
I am speechless.
Each sequence has its own feel and its own look, but there's a thread that runs through it that unifies it in a design style. So I think one of the sequences that's technically really impressive is Alpha Trion is telling the story of the primes and using the dust that's within the cave that he's in. So he brings to life the story by animating the metallic dust in the cave, and the metallic dust swirls around and it forms the characters in the story and it integrates with the characters in the cave, and it's beautifully executed, and it's a real masterclass of effects simulation.
We start designing our characters by looking at what's been done before, and you know, there's so much Transformers out there, so many different versions of these characters, and so we wanted to make sure that we stayed true to the characters, but we weren't doing something that's been done before.
Before we even build the world, we had to build the character lineup. So we started very early on with Josh talking about proportion. And I had this thought, and I had looked at a lot of like anime, where they exaggerate the length of the legs and leave the torsos about the same size. And they have the feet just a little bit bigger and a bit wider. And it makes the characters feel like a big trapezoid, where they have this like kind of sense of heroism to them.
Their uniqueness enhanced by these.
A lot of it comes down to established color identity. If you look at like Optimus, for example, he's the red, that silverish color, that, metal color, and the blue. And there's always this little accent in there, which is a compliment, which is that yellow, which is around his belt line. And if you look at D16, who becomes Megatron, it's those fierce red eyes, it's those big iconic shoulders, and then those big black feet. And so we really wanted to make sure that those visual essences and those visual archetypes were incorporated through every single character.
This fight is mine. Now go.
One of the challenges was just making these robots have a little bit more human characteristics to them. So designing their faces in a way that the emotion can really read.
So that way when we get on our emotional journey and every one of our characters goes on one, that our audience would be able to relate to it.
It wasn't just lines of dialogue they were saying, but also just the acting of these characters was really important, and that it can really convey a lot of emotion.
We had to create robots that looked and moved like robots, but created faces and their mannerisms that had emotional connectivity to our audience, which are obviously humans.
In my early discussions with Josh, it was really important that we lean into the subtext. That's why he wanted the faces designed the way they were, that we, the human audience, could watch them, feel their emotions, and all that becomes layered into the performance that we get out of our team of animators.
One of the cool things that we did on Transformers 1 is we used the eyes like camera apertures because they have this mechanical feel to them. So really to help give a sense of thought and really feel like they're coming to life and there's something living inside of the character. We did a lot of like rolls and opening and closing of shutters just to make it feel like you could get a sense that the character was thinking.
You are no-cog bots with limited options. Report to waste management immediately.
So at the beginning of the film, our leads, they're down in the mines all the time. So they've got a lot of scratches on their paint, they're rusty, they've got dents and damage. All the little details that are so much fun to design.
So at the very beginning, they're not, Transformers yet. They don't have cogs.
Through their journey, they get the opportunity to get a transformation cog. And then their shapes become more edgy.
They start to get more angular, a little stronger.
And more traditional back to their Generation 1 cartoon version.
And also, the other thing I was thinking about is in their surfacing. We're in a metal world, and once they go from minor to this like alt version, when they get their transformation cogs, they should feel like brand new cars.
It's almost like they're being reborn. And so their paint is brand new, and they just have this look to them, this sheen, and the light hits them differently. You can even see like the fleck in the paint and everything.
Their paint became more metallic. It gets shinier. They feel like they're right off the showroom floor.
We have cogs. We can transform now.
That's right. Everyone ready?
I was born ready.
One of the big challenges was, what do these characters look like when they're vehicles and not on Earth? They can't turn into human trucks or human cars when humans don't even exist yet. So we looked at the original design that they would turn into and did a Cybertronian version of that. So it still has a feel of what you know and what you remember watching the original cartoon, but it is on another planet. We have an opportunity to do something totally different with this film. Being on Cybertron, which is all made of metal, and in space, no humans, so it needed to have something that just felt different from what we've seen.
So that's new.
I'm sorry, what is happening?
It just became kind of what feels right, what's going to be the best things to support our characters and support the story. And we ended up on this look that I'm thrilled with.
Here, all are truly Autobots. I am Optimus Prime.